are watching 32 teams in 32 days on the Game Time Sports Network.
It's a great day, sports world. It's Dallas Cowboy Day here on the latest edition of 32 teams in 32 days. Moving right along in the NFC East. Mon, how you doing today, man? I know you got some family that's Dallas Cowboy fans. I got some that's Dallas Cowboy fans. I don't necessarily have a problem with Cowboy fans. They do get a little annoying. Well, not a little annoying. They do get annoying, but for a team that hasn't won nothing in about 30 years. But I'm thinking that this could be the year that they at least get there. Do you think?
No, 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 man. I don't. I'm doing, well today. Thanks for asking. I've been sitting around taking some notes, watching old Super Bowls. I'm halfway through the San Francisco 49ers and Cincinnati Bengals from the yesteryear. So I'm just going through and reliving some of the times that we were kids and we didn't get a chance to enjoy the game that we love. Just going through doing some reminiscing. But to answer your question about the Cowboys, no, and I'll expand more on that throughout the show.
I see old Joe Montana in the back, right?
See old Joe Cool right there. That was a
Yeah.
bad boy back in the day, boy. They had Steve Young on the bench. Man, that's all 49ers fans, man. I know we already did the 49ers episode, but I see why y'all the way y'all are, man. Y'all been spoiled in the 80s and 90s, man. Then you get to the 2000s and it's just
You make a
nothing.
couple of appearances, you know,
Yeah, but can't get it done.
get
So,
it done. It,
yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah.
it,
Rodgers, Jerry Rice,
it's
Roger
all about
Craig.
it's all about getting it done, man. And this team, Dallas 7-9-1 last year, and Brian Schottenheimer's first season as head coach. I think that Jerry made the right move, don't you think?
Yeah, I think it was the right move for Jerry. Of course, there were some names out there that I would have loved to see. But Jerry's going to have his finger on the pulse of the team as well. He's gonna pick his quote unquote guy, and I think it's fit if he fits them for an organization because Jerry wants to keep control of what's going on, and if you bring in somebody outside that has to have it their way. I don't think that'll mesh well with Jerry's type of structure and organizational uh, picture per se. So I say, yeah. I mean, for what this team has, and I think it was a decent hire.
Yeah, Jerry don't like nobody talking back to him there.
Absolutely, no, because you out of there. It's not the sexiest hire per se. It's not the big name. It's not the big splash. But sometimes we all know, going for the sexy name, sexy hire, can also come back to burn you as well. So year two, he has, a lot to build on from the 7-9-1 season from a year ago. And, he has the weaponry around him. He has the talent to get it done. That's all about the players going on the field September 13th and making him a believer and making him a truther.
Cowboys offense, 27.7 points per game. That was 7 yards per game. They were second. Third down, they were 12th. Red zone, they were 18th. They 31 sacks taken. That was the ninth fewest in the league last year. And my first question is, I know what's left to prove for Dak Prescott, and I know the question would be a conference championship game, a Super Bowl. And shout out to Chat because he came up with this, but they're asking that question like he's proved a lot. Now, in terms of maybe winning games or passing yards and accolades like that. And I mean, yeah, we can have that kind of conversation. But when it comes to winning in the postseason, Dak ain't did a whole lot of it. And maybe this is the year that they can get things done. If you look at Dak last year, 17 games he played. And, he's got a little bit of an injury history. The year before that in 2024, 8 games he played. So he's played a consistent season 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years in his going on 11-year career that he's been healthy. So is every season, not every season, but every other season is always a season where he done broke something. He's going to be out for the season and something like that. But last year, 40 over 4,500 yards, 30 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. With the weaponry that he has around him, in which we'll get into it in a little bit, what's left for Dak?
Lombardi's. That's that simple. We ain't got, yeah, playoffs, wild card, division. Yeah, that's cute and all. But Lombardi's is the only thing that really matters and what he got left to prove. They've come close a couple times. I don't know if you remember that was on my feed earlier, that 2021 NFC playoff game versus the 49ers where he gave the ball to the center instead of giving the ball to the referee so he can set the ball, and time ultimately ran out. And then they got embarrassed by Green Bay a few years later. And, just, in my opinion, I thought they had better teams than the other teams that they were playing those 2 years. And that's, they come up short, and so he's done everything. You can say MVP if you want to put an MVP on that. You can. I think he's won a Walter Payton Man of the Year award as well, if I'm not mistaken. I think he has. So yes, man, it's all about legacy and Lombardi's.
2022.
Yeah, it's all about legacies and Lombardi's for Dak Prescott now. Can you get to the game? Getting to the game is cool, but the expectations for Cowboy Nation, Cowboys fans, Cowboy Nation is crazy. But for Cowboy fans in general, and nothing else short of anything short of a Super Bowl is unacceptable, is inexcusable. So to answer your question, Lombardi's and MVPs, man, that's the only thing he got left to prove. If he can get to a Lombardi, hey man, you're a made man for the Cowboys forever.
Javonte Williams, former Bronco, had his first 1,000-yard season.
That's a shame. That's a shame. Couldn't get 1,000 yards for the Broncos. That's a shame.
Well, think about it. His first season, he got out to a good start, and then he ended up getting hurt.
There you go.
ACL, MCL, and that it was all messed up. Then remember, he came back early in that preseason. It was like the recovery process takes a lot longer than this. What are you doing back? And I mean, the whole season, but could never get back to that form of what he was. Hard to tackle. He's a great tackle breaker. He has an eye for the lane, and I mean, he can definitely get once he gets that downhill speed. He's not a lot of speed, but I mean, he can definitely carry you. So, but first 1,000-yard rush, 11 touchdowns, over 4.8 yards a pop. And then that was pretty much it for their run game. I know you have guys like Malik Davis and Jaden Blue, who's coming up, who could have, maybe a bigger role coming up this season. And then in the pass game, you got tag team back again with George Pickens signing the franchise tag. He had 137 on the targets, 93 receptions, 1429 on the yards, and 9 touchdowns. That led the Cowboys last year. And the Cowboys had 2,000-yard guys, and CeeDee Lamb still playing 14 games, 117 on the target, 75, and 1077 on the yards with 3 touchdowns. Is this the best wide receiver tandem in the league?
Absolutely. It is. I'm not gonna say it's not close, but I think Pickens' ability. You got Cincinnati with Jamar and T, and you got Dallas with these 2 young fellas. I don't know if I'm missing anybody. Please, add somebody else. If I mean, you could say a third could be. I don't know. It's hard, man. But if I had to pick a dynamic duo, it probably would be these two, because these two are number 1A guys on their own respective teams. Not to say that T Higgins can't be a 1A on his team, but Pickens is more dynamic and can do more with the ball in his hand than T Higgins can, in my opinion. So yeah, man, you got 2,000-yard receivers that's leading this offense, man. It's just best tandem in the league for my money.
When you talking about T Higgins, remember it was, I want to say, last off season. It might have been or it might have been the off season before then, where they were in talks with the Bengals potentially, letting them go, or he could have been a 1A on somebody else's team. But definitely with Jamar Chase, T Higgins, in that realm of top duos, wide receiving duos in the league. Um, Other guys they had on there, Jake Ferguson, he had a career year with 600 yards and 8 touchdowns. Um, yeah, Cavante Turpin, what was it, Flournoy, guys like that, little role players, as well as on the team. The offensive line, Tyler Guyton gave up 3 sacks, played 10 games. Tyler Smith, 2.5. Cooper Beebe, 3 sacks allowed in 11 games. Tyler Booker, 6.5, and Terrence Steele with 9. I think this is the same unit that they're running back this year. How do you feel about this unit protecting Dak, and still with him having like the same kind of production?
Yeah, man, I like this unit, man. They're young in the inside. Tyler Booker, former first round pick. Tyler Guyton, a former first round pick. I think Cooper Beebe was a second round pick, third round pick.
Yeah,
One of those 2 rounds, man. I do like this young core, man. You said he only gave up 31 sacks, which was not few was in the league last year. That means that they're doing their job, keeping Dak clean and keeping Dak upright. So you can see the numbers that the two dynamic receivers had on the previous graphic put up, man. I expect the same thing out of these guys, barring injury and barring health. I think it's going to be a solid unit this year as well.
Uh, Going to the key additions and key departures before we touch on the defense. And you see they got Rashawn Gary, Jalen Thompson, the safety from over there in Arizona, PJ Locke, former Bronco, Jonathan Bullard, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, who I think could be something special in this offense. And he's not going to be used every time, but you know where I'm going. Like go routes, speed, take the top off of defense type of player. Curtis Robertson, who they got over from San Francisco, and then you get the cornerbacks and Kobe Durant and Darian Kendrick, and D Winters as well. So D Winters was the one that got traded there instead of Curtis Robinson, right?
Yeah, I think D Winters got traded as well. Yeah. You're right.
And in key departures, Osa Digizua, Kenneth Murray, Donovan Wilson, Jadeveon Clowney, guys like that. So what, as I always ask, what player from the departures list is going to hurt this team the most, and what addition will help this team the most?
For addition, I like that, since you lost to Michael Parsons last year. I think the Rashawn Gary, he's serviceable. I like Jalen Thompson to the back of that secondary to help a young Caleb Downs that we're going to talk about here in a very few minutes. So I like those key additions and key departures, man. For some reason, man, I like Jalen Tolbert, man. I thought he gave you something as a wide receiver 3. He could step up to be a wide receiver 2 if one of the other 2 guys went down. I was a very big fan of him. I'm not sure where he signed um, in this offseason. And I thought them trading for Logan Wilson, during the season last year would be a key card for this defense, but it's just never materialized to what they wanted it to be. So I thought there's another linebacker that departed that potentially helped them in 2026. But obviously they got Overshown and those guys. We all know who those names are. And D Winters now coming over from San Francisco that can help that linebacker core. So I'm gonna go Jalen Tolbert for the departure, and I'm gonna go over Sean Gary and Jalen Thompson. We got Jalen's everywhere. Jalen's and Tyler's on this team
Yeah.
for the additions.
Uh, Tober went to Miami.
Okay.
Yeah. And with the linebacker additions, where you got Curtis Robinson and you got D Winters, when you were talking about Overshown's been that guy that they've been wanting to, shine, and
They waited on him.
they waiting on him, but his body just not. It just can't work with him. Each and every year we expecting him to stay healthy, and we can't see that production on the field like we want to. On the defensive side of the ball, Shamar James led the team with tackles with 91, and Jadeveon Clowney led the team with 8.5 sacks. He's not there anymore. James Houston had 5.5, but he's still there. Osa's gone. He had 3.5. So with this defense here, 12 takeaways. That was 30th in the league. Yards per game. Look at the yards per game. Just
Bottom of the league, boy. Woo. Can you hear me, Larry?
can you hear me? Okay. All right. I thought I had lost connection with you for a second. Pass defense 109.6 passer rating allowed. So that was up there. In the yards per game, 251 and a half. This defense is pretty bad. And only producing 35 sacks. That was tied for 22nd in the league. Now with some improvement on the defensive side of the ball, and especially with Quentin Williams getting a contract, we'll talk about him in a second. How do you feel about this defense now versus last year?
Well, I mean, this defense last year was bottom of the barrel. The numbers right here, um, really paints a picture for you about the struggles that they had. Going into 2026, I don't know if you want to pull that graphic up there, but there have been some sweeping changes as far as on the coaching staff. We got a new defensive coordinator that's been around the league for a little bit, so that should help them out a whole lot. And Mr. Christian Parker, and we all know, he's one of the brightest minds in the league. You can look at his track record 2019, 2020 at Green Bay, 21 and 23 with Denver, and we know what the type of defense Denver brings. And then I think it's on Vance Joseph, right?
Vic Fangio.
Or Vic Fangio, either one, it don't matter. I think on the 24, 25, he was on the Vic Fangio as well as the defensive backs coach and defensive pass game coordinator. So now he gets his shot to be, the head guy in Dallas, man, and everything out of camp, and listen to him talk to the media, man. He seems like he's on a mission. He has a goal for this defense, and he don't expect his defense to be bottom bottom half of the league this year, man. So I'm excited for this young man. He's a local guy, so even though he is uh, coaching for America's team, I'm always pulling for the local guys to do well in the league when they get their opportunity, and hopefully these opportunities can spring forward for him greater. So yeah, man, I'm excited for Christian Park and all the pieces he has to work with. He has a Quentin Williams with the new bag. You have a Rashawn Gary. You have Kenny Clark in the middle. You have Mr. Downs. You have Overshown. Your corner situation is still, Siobhan Revel. Hopefully he can come back from his ACL after being a high pick last year's draft. So there's some bright spots on this team that we're looking forward to and seeing on the field this coming September and see what he can do with those pieces.
Went to Battlefield High School. Is it in the 757?
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure about that. Yeah, where's the battle? Well, when he went to Battlefield High School and he went to college in Richmond. So, and I don't believe we talked about that earlier because I didn't know that. But he was a defensive backs coach at Virginia State and Norfolk State, a defensive analyst in Notre Dame and Texas A&M, and then he 2 years as a defensive quality control coach in Green Bay. He's a defensive backs coach in Denver, and same thing with in a passing game coordinator in Philly as well for 2 years. So about their secondary unit. I mean, you got Quinion Mitchell back there. You got what's my
Cooper DeJean.
Cooper DeJean back there.
Yeah, I think I don't know if he crossed paths with Darius Slay or not. I could be wrong, but he could potentially have worked with Darius Slay, which is a All-Pro corner at one point in his career. I'm not sure he crossed paths with Slay, but
I think they won the Super Bowl in 24, so so
he had to work with Slay, and then he worked with Vic Fangio. We all know Vic Fangio from with Denver, and we know what type of defense he brings, what type of energy what type of calls he can dial up. So I expect some of the same with a little twinkle, but wrinkle and twist to his defense, man. So I'm excited for Mr. Parker to show what he can do and what he's capable of.
Yeah, it's received some negative flack because he's young and he never led a unit before and things like that. But these are where not cornerbacks. These are where coordinators where they earn next step, whether it's head coach or whether they earn their money. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, before you go, I mean, like people. I know back to what you're saying is, people, still have question marks. But he's cut his teeth in this league on the collegiate level. I mean, in this league and the collegiate level as well, because Notre Dame and Texas A&M, they're high profile schools. They ain't nothing to sniff at. And they always kick out defensive players in the draft at some point, and going in, learning behind, the greats, Fangio, Vance Joseph, those guys. I mean, that's knowledge, man. That those are Vance Joseph, former head coach in this league, and we know what Vic brings to as far as defense. So I say give this young man a chance, man. I think you're going to be surprised. I think Dallas fans, in particular, going to be very pleased with what they see from first year defensive coordinator Christian Parker. Man, I'm really rooting for him.
yeah, and me too. And just from where he began, and just the way that he can get this team together. I think this is probably the more. And even though we haven't seen anything on paper yet, but this could be one of the most ferocious defenses Dallas has had, based on his pedigree and what he can bring. So, Quentin Williams got a big bag last week.
Big
Three
bag.
3 years, 105.9. Uh, yeah, that was 105.9, 35 million annually, 101 million guaranteed, and he got the 31.85 million signing bonus. Well deserved. He was traded over there from the Jets last year, and it was trade deadline from last year. So was this the right move?
Yeah, you got to keep a dominant force like that in the middle of your defense. You don't give up what you give up for him, and then not to resign him. That was always the long term goal is to get him a contract. And a shout out to the Cowboys for getting a cornerstone piece, at the trade deadline, and see him a part of their future, man. So I think this is a huge deal for Quentin Williams. He's probably my favorite player in the draft when he came on. What 2019?
Something around like that,
He
yeah.
was my favorite player because I remember, my favorite quote from Quentin Williams was they were playing the national championship or playing the college football playoff versus Oklahoma, and somebody asked him on the podium, "What do you think about?" And Nick Saban was right beside him, and he was like, "What do you think about Kyler Murray?" He was like, "Ain't nobody worry about no Kyler Murray." And then Nick Saban had to tap him and shut him down. I was like, "Yeah, that's my favorite player in the draft." And unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to pick him. He went to the Jets third overall. So man, but he's one of my favorite players to watch. And when he's right and he's on, he's up there with the Jeffrey Simmons and the Jordan Davis. If he's not there already, man, he's one of them ones.
Ooh, they traded for a top 3 pick, and you signed him to an extension. Look at what franchise, and not to say that they're a franchise up here maybe in terms of money, but like the Cowboys been kind of down here in recent years. But in terms of like other franchises, you know, versus the Jets, you see what the Jets did with them.
Yeah, like I said, it all depends on how and I say this, being a team coming from a team that's not very good right now. It all depends on where you catch the player in the team life cycle. If you catch a good player and you can get them for something that that's not really going to hurt you in the long run, you get them. You get a Quentin Williams. You go get a Sauce Gardner if you're the Colts. If you think you're maybe one or two pieces away from competing for a championship, and you get the teams that are not that good that's going to pick in top 5, top 10 every year, you get those picks and you focus on the future, man. So Dallas came up on a great opportunity. They couldn't pass it down. I wouldn't have passed it down either. And I think they're going to be better, 3-4 years from now, with Quentin Williams being in the middle of that defense.
To the draft picks real quick, Caleb Downs, and then Malachi Lawrence, both in the first round at pick 11 and 23. Jayshon Barner, defensive end at pick 92. Drew Shelton, the offensive tackle in the fourth round. Devin Moore, cornerback in the fourth round as well. LT Overton, defensive end in the fourth round as well. They didn't get another pick until the seventh round. Wide receiver Anthony Smith from East Carolina. I got a feeling I know where you're going when I ask this, but what rookies stand out to you the most?
Of course, it's Mr. Downs here. That's the low hanging fruit. That's to be the theme of me this 32 for 32. I'm gonna take the low hanging fruit. every time. And we all know Caleb Downs was a top three, top two, top, well, you name it, whatever prospect in the draft last year. And sometimes, I think he's going to make an immediate impact for this defense. And sometimes I think, draft analysts just overthink things. Instead of taking the best player on the board and let one of the top three players fall to Dallas at 11. And I think they traded up to get him, traded maybe one or two spots. And with Miami, I believe they swapped with Miami and they took a hell of a talent. Everything you've been seeing, hearing out of camp is nothing but good reviews. I know they're in a joint practice with the Saints right now, and
Y'all got fighting yesterday.
yeah, I mean, you got Big Papa Pump son out there doing the suplex, so it's in his genes. So I mean, that's what you expect from him, man. But yeah, back to Caleb Downs. I think he's going to be everything that you expected, you wanted him to be, and what you expect him to be. And yeah, I'm excited for him. And another one is I like LT Overton out of Alabama, the fourth round pick. He's guy that can he's a down lineman, he's gonna set the edge, defend the run, is something that the Cowboys really need, as we've seen with their defensive yardage stats and stuff on the previous couple slides here. So I think he's gonna be a good addition to that rotation. And Malachi Lawrence, you traits guy, you see him doing the combine, you were like, ooh, can he sneak into the first round? He has some stuff there that they like on tape. And I think, the Cowboys was like, hey, we got to get younger. We don't have Parsons no more. That ship is sailed. We got to do this thing by committee. And the more pass rushes you got the quarterback, along with Jayshon Barham, Donovan Izaraku from last year. You got a mix a pass rush by committee, and then you sign Charles Snowden to a 1 year deal. So this will be a pass rush by committee, and everybody needs to do their part, and I think they will this year.
Signing Von Miller Monday, Monday or Tuesday when they signed Von Miller. So former Super Bowl MVP, two-time champ with the Rams as well. He got the first one from. Yeah.
See that Von Miller one, I don't understand.
I think that's going to be the icing on the cake.
I don't think so, bro.
You don't need him every down. This man just come off a 9-sack season last year. And granted, how those sacks look, but
Bro, I think more this stage of Von Miller, and don't get mistake, Von Miller's the first ballot Hall of Fame. Let's not get it twisted. But I think this stage of Von Miller is not is he's not going to be the. I'm not saying he'll be able to give you what you want, but I think you probably could have went somewhere else and got something too. Don't get me wrong. Now you got a chance to sign Von, you sign Von, but I don't really think he's going to do anything for this team this year. I get the Buffalo Bills vibes when he signed that 6 year, $100-some million contract with them,
great.
and he didn't do anything. He didn't have like no impact on the team because you thought then he was the missing piece for this Bills team to go to Super Bowl hump, but it just never happened. And I feel the same way here in this situation. I rather just went with the young guys and let them figure it out. But hey, when you got a chance to sign a Vaughn, you go ahead and see what you can get.
And I mean, he could be just a camp body, but at this stage in his career, like he's not a camp body. You don't use somebody like him like it's a camp body. He probably won't even get no snaps in the preseason. But when you got guys like James Houston and Wezeraku and all these other guys, and you drafted 2 pass rushers. And you also you drafted LT Overton in the later round. So
Just before we go, we got breaking news. I know this is not Cowboys related, but Bucks extended Vita Vea just came across my phone. So
what is the
we'll
number?
talk. I don't know the numbers. I just seen it flash on the side of my thing, but we knew this would get resolved at some point. But yeah, man, congratulations to that young man. But yeah, man, back to your Vaughn thing, man. He's one of those guys that if you get the right Vaughn, you bring off the bench and then he can close the game for you if you still got a little juice left in the tank. So we'll definitely see.
And this is why I say that this could be the icing on the cake because you got so many pass rushers in it. And, you just said that a couple minutes ago. You never get enough pass. Yeah.
Now I can.
When you got that one passer, and that's
Vita
can you
Vea
still hear
signed
me?
a yeah, I can hear you. Vita Vea signed a 1 year 30. So
1 year 30? That's crazy.
they gave him a raise pretty much, a little boost.
Okay. But yeah. So with the Vaughn thing, closing in on the Vaughn thing, man, I think that could be a very detailed signing right there. That we'll be looking at, assuming that they make the playoffs or in the season sometime. I don't see him playing a lot of snaps. His snap count, I think I showed you a couple months ago. His snap count where it dipped, it went from like 900 to just like he only had like 400 snaps last year. So you think with all the pass rushes that you have in now, that number's gonna come down even more. And they're only gonna use him in situational opportunities. So that's why I say like it could be the icing on the cake depending on how you use him. With Christian Parker there. I mean, Christian Parker was there in Denver when he was there at the tail end of his career in Denver. So I mean, there's some familiarity there. And it could be a good thing. So um, let's get into the schedule.
Come on.
Starting off with the Giants on Sunday night, and then you got Commanders and Ravens. They got them in Brazil, and you see it right there on the screen. They got 6 primetime games. You got the Bucks on a Thursday night, the Packers on a Sunday night, and the Eagles on a Monday night, and back weeks. Got the Eagles on Thanksgiving at 4:30, the Seahawks on a Monday night, and the Jaguars on a Sunday night. What what game in these stretches right here is tough for these guys?
Ooh, man, it's Ravens, Texans, Bucks. That's gonna be a toughie. Then I can see the Seahawks, Rams, Jaguars being a toughie as well, man. That them two little stretches, right there, I can see them being a challenge for them. You got what, seven? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 primetime games.
It's yeah.
One, two,
Coming up there.
three, 4, 5,
I think
6.
it's
Yeah, 8 primetime games. My lord.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's 7 because Rio is 425.
I count it as a primetime game in my
Okay.
opinion because of the time frame is 425, and then you got Lamar versus Dak. You know they're gonna want to showcase that, so I count that. But if you don't, I get what you're saying when you said 7 though. But I mean football's international, buddy. So yeah,
Yeah.
put them.
When I saw that 425, I'm like, I mean, is it still prime time?
Oh
Technically, I mean,
yeah, for
it
sure,
is prime time technically.
for sure for us anyway.
I was just
But
always looking at night games as like the prime time games. So.
oh, I see what you're saying. I see what
Yeah.
you're saying. But yeah, the like that Ravens, Texans, Bucks, that can be a toughie, and like I said, the Seahawks, that bad Jaguars, Rams, that could be tough games for this team here.
You get the Eagles on a Monday night and then Thanksgiving. Is this the matchup to look forward to for as far as like a rival opponent
For the in general or for the Cowboys?
for the Cowboys?
Uh, yeah, I would say the Eagles because that's who you're chasing. That's the latest team out of that division to win a Super Bowl, and you're trying to get to where they've been to, which is the promised land. So
Mm,
I think that's the measuring stick for the for the Cowboys is the Eagles in their division. And if they can fare well, I mean, if they can fare well versus this Eagles team, I think they can boost their chances a long way of making a deep playoff run.
man, wow. You looking
By the
at
way, by the way, this is my division winner too. I know I didn't pick the Eagles yesterday, but I picked the Cowboys to win the division this year.
yeah, I can dig it. I can definitely dig it. That stretch right there with the Ravens and you playing them on neutral site, Texans, Buccaneers. I know a lot of people might not be on the Buccaneers, but and on a Thursday on a short week, that's still a
Baker Mayfield can get you.
exactly. And then you go to Lambeau, Philly. The Cardinals. Every time the Cardinals and the Cowboys play, the Cardinals kind of seem to get out of there with a win. I don't see that this year. I mean, who knows? I didn't see it last year, but they end up winning. But yeah, this is a tough little stretch. And then on the back end of the schedule, we closing out with the Giants and the Commanders. Who knows how they're gonna be looking at that time of the year? Trevor Lawrence as well. The Rams. That's gonna be a tough game right there. So, how many wins do you see coming out of this?
mm,
Giants, Commanders, and we look at those Ravens and Texans. Like, I mean, those games can go either way.
I see about 10 or 11 wins. I say 10 or 11. I'm gonna stick with 10 just to be safe.
Just to be safe, I'm gonna go back around 11. I'm gonna go 11.
No, don't go 13. Go ahead.
I put some money on it.
Oh, I'm glad. Okay, I'm gonna let you put the money on it then. Give me 10.
When I'm right.
Let me hold a couple dollars. That's all I want. Give me a
Like,
couple dollars.
no, you didn't believe in me.
Like I ain't
But
believe in Daniel Jones. You had some money into
to his what is his ankle? What is it, ACL?
tibia, something. I don't know.
It's something in it. Come on, DJ. But as we close the show out, what are your final thoughts on the Cowboys here? And do you think this could be the year that they get closer to the Lombardi, or that they have been in recent years?
I think this is the year they get. I think this is the year they get closer. I'm not saying they're gonna win the Super Bowl, but I'm gonna pick them to get to the NFC Championship. Off this offense alone, man, this offense is so explosive. If you had to pick a weakness on this offense, you can complain about the running back room, and that's if Javonte stays healthy. If Javonte stays healthy, then we got problems on our hand for sure. But doesn't stay healthy, I'm sorry. But I'm gonna say NFC Championship for this team, and then we're gonna go from there.
I'm gonna go. This is gonna be my Super Bowl pick.
Oh Lord, see, I ain't going that far. Man.
This is gonna be my Super Bowl pick, and I'm gonna go.
Let me write this down.
Yeah, write it down.
Stick on my tab.
I'm going Denver, and I'm going Dallas. In I'm going Denver, and I'm going Dallas in the Super Bowl. Put it down. Write it down.
You want my Super Bowl teams right now, or you want me to wait? Because I ain't trying. I mean, you just gonna go ahead and then
Go ahead.
You want my Super Bowl teams?
Go ahead.
Give me Rams. Give me Texans. Rams, Texans.
The Texans. Okay.
Rams, and Texans.
And I got Broncos and Cowboys.
You got Broncos and Cowboys. Boy, unrealistic, man.
You got anything else before we get up out of here, brother?
Yeah, let's stop lying, man. Like you just keep picking the Broncos. You do like super stuff. You telling me they won a Super Bowl 2 hours ago. You was telling me you hate Sean Payton, man. He be doing some dumb stuff. Or get it together, man. Get it together. That's some fan for you right there. Came through the motions. You be up here, down here.
You
But
don't know which way to go.
You don't know. Like when preseason start tomorrow, you get one incompletion by Stidham. You ready to cut him? You know what I'm saying? So it's like your emotions, woo woo. But nah, man. On a serious note, man, I just want to see the Cowboys stay healthy. I want to see. I'm not the biggest Dak fan, but I think he gets blamed for some stuff that he ain't got control over. That he gets overly criticized. He's whatever you want to call it. And but he's top 10 quarterback, top 7 quarterback in this league. To me, and I just want to see this young man do well. Being a 4th-round pick out of Mississippi State 2016, you couldn't ask for a better career than he's had for a guy that took over for Tony Romo. We all thought that he would just be a backup, but he made the most of his opportunities. And I want to see George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb do well as well. And hopefully we can parlay this into a contract extension for George Pickens, because we know he playing on a tag right now at about $27-28 million. And we want to see the young man always get paid. And this defense, man, this much line defense with the new defensive coordinator. Everybody want to see Caleb Daniels and Malachi Lawrence's. I just want to see consistent play from the players they had in the past, like Overshown and those guys. So I'm excited to see what this Cowboys team can do. And God forbid if they start out 2-0, 3-0, I might have to log off my Facebook and my social media accounts for a few weeks and block my aunt for a few weeks until they start losing. Then I'll unblock them and then talk trash on them. But it's going to be interesting for sure whenever they kick off the season.
Yeah, I'm really thinking that this could be a team that could be one of the final four, if not final two. If you're looking at what you're talking about with Dak, this has got to be the year that he that he does it or puts the team in a position to do it. You got a running back in Javonte Williams who's experienced, had it coming off a career year last year. If he can stay healthy, good pass blocker as well. The receiving cast, supporting cast, the tight end supporting cast, as well as the offensive lineman. And then you go into the defensive side of the ball where they got crazy depth, where they got depth at safety, cornerback, edge rushers, defensive tackle. So like all of that matters. And I think in that, you know, with as much talent as you have on this team, this defense is getting younger and they're getting, younger and hungry. You got a guy like a Caleb Downs, a young guy coming in there, young guy like Malachi Lawrence and Jay Sean Barnum with the guys that you already have there. I think this could be a team that we could see late in the season playing. Hopefully, it would be about damn time because the years in the past, my goodness, 30 years, like that's crazy.
Yeah, man, it's been a long time, man.
Cowboy fans, chime in. What you think? I know, of course, y'all gonna think y'all gonna go to the Super Bowl anyway, but go ahead and write in the comments section what you think.
You think so too? Because you got Broncos and Cowboys in the Super Bowl.
Well,
Whoa.
yeah, I do. Tomorrow we got the Commanders and we got Miss Candy Waller from Bowie TV and Miss Seawall Entertainment. She'll be on the show tomorrow to give her perspective about the Washington Commanders. So be on the lookout for that. Amon, if you don't have anything else, we are out. It's been a good episode. So tomorrow we're gonna make it another one. See y'all.